What's up, folks? Michael here with Primal. Today's video is something extra special. It's actually a review, and I don't normally do reviews. Quite frankly, I try to shy away from them. Unless I've gone out and actually bought the product and had a chance to look at it myself, I really don't get into doing reviews. As a content creator on YouTube, people reach out to us all the time asking us to look at their products, promote them, talk about them, share them, whatever. There's no shortage of people out there asking you to peddle their wares. More often than not, when somebody reaches out to me, I just take their email and throw it right into the junk bin. But this company was a little bit different. I actually had the opportunity to talk to these people one-on-one. And after speaking with the company, understanding a little bit about their mission, where they're coming from, and what their intent is, I was intrigued. They asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at their products, checking them out, testing them out, the whole 9 yards. And I agreed to, but with one condition, that the video was my own. No say-so in how it gets produced. If they want my opinion, it's going to be an honest opinion, and that's what they're going to get. To be honest, I half expected them to tell me they'd call me back and never hear from them again. But they were not only agreeable to my idea, but excited about it. And this was one reason that I agreed to do it. When they said it was okay, they not only asked me to be honest and critical, but to provide them feedback because, and this is the part that really got to me, they wanted to take my feedback back to the designer, and if it was something that they could address or fix, they were actually going to try to have that implemented. Now, I find that very impressive. These people are trying to make the best possible product. And before I get ahead of myself, let me go ahead and tell you what I'm looking at here. Cutlery. Well, you knew that already because you saw the thumbnail and you read the title. But these people are not just making kitchen cutlery. They're out there trying to make high-end cutlery. These are not Walmart knives. These are not things you're going to go to your Kroger, Harris Teeter, or your Target and pick up a couple of knives for $12 and call it a day. These are higher-end knives. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into it and take a look at what we got. These knives, full disclosure, were sent to me to keep. And again, part of the agreement was that there's a possibility these knives are going to break. And they were okay with that. And that's part of the reasons that they said just go ahead and keep them. Okay, here we go. You and I are seeing these for the first time. Let's do it. Kyoku. Now I have to say, when it comes to packaging, you either love it or you don't. And it might not matter to any of you, but I'm of the opinion that this is your first impression of whatever product you're going to get. You know, when you open something up and you see quality in the packaging, in the presentation, it kind of gets your expectations up there. And yes, I know that it's true that you can put a piece of shit in a pretty box, but at the same time, the company that takes pride in its packaging and attempts to bring you something that is presented well, the better off you are. Now, I like the packaging. These prices on these knives. Okay, that doesn't really impact anything. I'm not really sure what that's all about. So, it's got some information on there. It says here, I can barely read it. Demo Series Superior VG10 Japanese Damascus steel. Okay. All right. This out of the way. Is there tape on here? Is it? Ah ha 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 ha. Okay, I gotcha. All right, there we go. All right. Very magnetically closed. I like that. So the packaging is nice. You know, when you look at it on the website, it leaves much to be desired, but it's relatively nice. I still am a big fan of bamboo. You know, when you're buying this type of cutlery, and these knives are geared towards the home enthusiast, the professional, that type of thing. You know, if you're just a casual chef, if you're just looking for a chef's knife because you might cut a carrot next month, this is probably not going to be the type of knife that you're going to want to be shopping for. You know, these are geared towards people who take it more serious. So that being said, again, I'm okay with the packaging. I like bamboo better. That's just a preference of mine. I'd have probably done the exact same thing, but maybe in bamboo, simply for storage. Lots of paperwork. A little card, thank you for shopping type of a thing. We've got some paperwork. We are not going to read all this, but it's got all their different knives in there and all the stuff that they offer. This is a sheath. It says here, grab the middle part of the sheath while inserting the knife. So it feels solid. It's got some kind of a velvet in here or felt or something like that. The knife comes in, I guess, like this. It's nice. It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. Some people really love the man-made materials. I'm a traditionalist. I like bamboo. I like wood, all that type of stuff. Ebony. I like all that. All right, and here is the knife itself. Very well presented. There's a little foam pad in here for safety. And I guess theoretically you could keep it in there if you wanted to. All right, so let's take a look at this. Get this out of the way here. Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you there is some serious heft with this knife. And that's a good thing. I'm not... So I guess it's all going to be dependent on how you hold the knife. You know, I'm a pincher. I hold it up here when I do my cooking like this. I don't really hold it down here. Although the handle is built, if you're the type that likes to hold it like this, there's bubbles in there's the way the handle's shaped. It's comfortable for that. And again, if you want to hold it a little bit higher, choke up a little bit higher, you can do that as well. I'm kind of teasing you guys with the packaging here. I don't want to take it out. Okay. You've got their brand down in here. It's etched in the bottom. There is some protecting on the tip and on the back. Oh yeah, comes nice and sharp. So the handle here is it looks like maybe G10 or something like that. Possibly. It's definitely man-made material, some type of man-made material here. It's got pins in here, and this... I don't know if this is going to come out. I'm going to actually have to throw a picture up here of this. There's a real nice... This center pin is mosaic. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that on some of the bushcraft style knives or the more ornate knives. But they take a tube of whatever steel you're using, and then they fill it with epoxy, and then fill it with smaller tubes and come up with a lot of different designs. That's really a neat touch. If you're into quality knives and you're into details, then this is something really special. It's dead on balls. It's not swaying one way or the other. It's not off-centered. The handle back here, the metal back here, perfectly smooth. This is a well-built knife. I'm not going to lie. This is definitely a well-built knife. It's a full-tang knife. There's no breaks. There's no separation. There's no nothing. It is straight up a full-tang knife. So that's going to give it a little bit more heft. Now, let's take a look here. The balance is really good. Again, if you're like me and you pinch at the top when you're cooking, that's just the way I do it. I hold it like this, and I'll chop like this. That type of thing. So far, so good, guys. I really like this this material here. But let's do a little bit of investigating. You hear that? I can't be certain, but that sounds like a hollow point. I wonder if this is straight mechanical, or is it mechanical and epoxy? Usually if there's epoxy in there, you can hear it kind of deaden that sound, because the epoxy will fill in all the voids. I mean, that's not neither one way or the other. I'm just concerned about the construction, but let's try this side. Again, it's in the top right here. I'm not expecting the exact same tone, but if you've ever walked across an old driveway or played basketball on an old driveway or dropped anything on it and heard a different thud in one location than another, that's generally a hollow spot. And that's really what I'm checking for here. I don't know that there's a hollow spot underneath here. I'm just curious about the tone difference. Let me try to see if you can hear it again. Let me try a different material here. Okay. I don't hear it anymore. I don't know if it's the way I was holding the knife or not, but it definitely... So I don't hear a whole heck of a lot of difference here in one versus the other. So let's move on. I have to say that the handle is built extremely well. I'm trying, as a knife maker, when I go in and I'm shaping a handle to a knife, I can't stand that ridge. Sometimes if you get less expensive knives and you rub your hand on the handle material, you'll feel the difference. And it is very negligible in here. I'm not saying it's perfectly smooth like a laser. I'm not going to lie about that. But it is extremely well. I would not say that that's an opportunity. I'm just simply saying that this is really good. I don't know if these are handmade. I know that during the process they are hand finishing some aspects of this knife. I don't know if the handles are hand finished all the way to the end or if they're relying on machines to do it. I would argue that either the machining is amazing or someone is in here working these things until it feels good. Because I got to tell you, it feels really, really good on all aspects, especially going across like this. Let's move on to the finish. So this is a peened finish where they apply a texture here. These aren't, nobody's hand forging these things like this. This is a peened finish. It's purely aesthetic. When I saw the knife initially, I made the comment that I wasn't a huge fan of this type of finish being shiny. My personal take on this type of finish, when you're looking at something like this, if you're going with this type of finish, this peened finish, you tend to want it more of a matte or dull or satin look. This polished finish, just to me, as I've been sitting here touching the knife, it's just hyper apparent all throughout the knife. But again, that's personal preference. You, on the other hand, may like that. That's just my opinion. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and go on and on for hours at a time about the quality of the knife. It is a well-built knife so far as I can see. And I went ahead and put it in the case. I was curious about this thing. I'm not a fan of this. You guys may like it. You guys may think this is the greatest design, but I feel like I'm going to slice my fingers open in this. I'm okay doing that. I'm fine doing that, but I'm just a little apprehensive. I guess, that's just my opinion of it. So I kept this in the refrigerator because I knew this knife was coming. This is a little bit softer. I'm not doing an infomercial here, guys. I'm not going to sit here and it slices, it dices, it juliennes. I'm not doing all that. I don't have time for that. And you don't want to see that. I'm taking a soft tomato, relatively soft tomato, a lemon. I don't know about you guys, but as a personal pet peeve, these can be a pain in the butt to cut because of the little fibers that go along the side. And then this is a hard-ass carrot. I just want to see how it's going to work. Bottom line, I want to see how it's going to work. And as far as edge retention, I don't have 6 months to use this knife and sit here and tell you at the end of 6 months that the edge retention is great. This is my overall initial impression on this knife. I will revisit this knife, but I want to get this out to you right now and let you know what my first impressions are. Again, your use may vary when it comes to the sharpness of a knife. If you're somebody that uses, I honestly probably this would be my daily driver, but I can definitely see how some people making this type of investment would not want this to be their EDU, everyday use. You might want to put this in your drawer and save it for when you're having that special someone over for dinner or that one special meal that you want to cook. I cut and slice. I really love juicing, and I'm slicing vegetables and fruits all the time. Pineapples, watermelons, everything. And this is an accurate representation of the stuff that I'm cutting on a regular basis. Steaks and stuff like that, I'm assuming, are going to work equally well. So let's start out. What do we want to start with? Let's take these. Let's start with these because I hate cutting these things. Let's see what's going on here. I got to stand up for this, so give me a break. All right, let's see what we got here. I don't normally cut like this. I know if somebody's looking at my technique, they're probably pitching a fit, but I'm just trying all areas of the knife. That's great. That's really, really good. The only parts that are not cutting are the ends. Now, normally, a lot of people teach you, again, I'm a pincher. I can't hold the knife any other way, to rock the knife like that. And when you do, this is giving you a cut. Now, my kitchen knife, I can tell you right now, won't do that. As a matter of fact, Joseph, okay, this is my kitchen knife. It has been recently sharpened. It needs to be resharpened, but still, anyway, this thing gets used a lot. So, okay, I don't know if you guys can see the difference in those two cuts right there. This is cut with my knife. This is cut with the other knife. This looks, to me anyway, this is more torn, whereas this is slicing really nice. So there's, again, it's a brand spanking new knife. Now, whether this edge is going to hold for 6 months, 6 years, or 6 minutes, I have no idea. But I can tell you right off the bat, it cuts better than this. And I do keep this thing as sharp as I possibly can. But again, this is one of those cheap $5 knives that well, I think $12 knives that you get at the grocery store. Okay, so let's see how we go here. I mean, it's very, very smooth all the way down. I like that. So let's switch it up. One of the things that I do with oranges, I don't have any oranges here, but one of the things I do with oranges before I juice them is I'll go through and I'll take the rind off. So let's see what we got here. Wow. Fun fact, you can actually juice the skin of a lemon, and it's actually good for you. The skin of a orange, however, not so much. You can do it, but a lot of people have digestive issues with that. I'm really impressed. This is shaving. I can actually see the knife through that cut. So let's go here. Again, guys, this is not an infomercial. I'm not trying to make an infomercial. I just want to see what this knife can do. Let me go this way. Let's see if I can get the rest of that pith off. You see that? That's pretty damn good. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this thing from rocking. I mean, I'm not putting any weight. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm pushing it forward and letting the weight of the knife cut through. That's pretty damn skinny. All right, let me sit down for this one. This is really a sharp knife. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to tell you that this is some scientific test. I've tried this test on a lot of knives that I buy, on pretty much all the knives that I buy, and depending on how ripe your tomato is, which this one's pretty daggone ripe, I probably got another 2 or 3 days to eat this thing, but I tried that test where you can go more and more. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to. It's more scraping with other knives, which is really cool. It's really, really cool. Just out of curiosity, see what happens. Let's try the drop test. And that, again, is the weight of the knife. It's pretty good. All right, let's try this. I'm just smooth as silk. That's like a baby's bottom. And I don't know if it's coming across on camera or if you understand what I'm doing. You could feel the difference between a knife that pushes its way through the material and a knife that slices its way through the material. Again, these are fresh. There's nothing wrong with these. These are a day or two old. It almost feels like it's been greased, which is what you want. When your knife is sharp enough when going through certain vegetables, especially carrots, if there's a roughness to it, you're not dealing with a dull knife. Well, you know what? Let's do it side by side. See, exactly my point. Okay, so this is from what I just cut, right? See that? This is from this cut. It's almost got like a matte finish on it, whereas this one's got a lot of ridges and it's even got some tears to it. I like carrots. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm pretty impressed with this knife. There's definitely some weight to it. How do I describe this? It has heft without being heavy. In other words, it feels substantial. It feels solid. It feels well built. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. I like this knife. It's very well balanced. The fit and finish is really good. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this polished finish, but that's personal preference. You guys may like it and think it's the greatest thing in the world. So who's this made for? I can definitely see this being used by professionals. I can definitely see it being used by home cooks who take their cooking very seriously. I'm one of those people. I love to cook. I love to be in the kitchen, slicing and dicing. Is this for your average person who is just looking to make sure that they can cut up their vegetables for soup? Not necessarily. These are higher end knives. That doesn't mean you can't get one. I'm of the opinion that you buy quality once and you get what you pay for. That doesn't mean cheaper knives don't have their place in the kitchen. I'm very finicky about the knives that I buy, and I have been looking to invest into a nice kitchen knife for a very long time. I take my purchasing very seriously when it comes to stuff like this, because this is I'm going to put this somewhere over here. I'll put the price of this knife, but this is not a $20 Walmart knife. I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can pick one of these up for yourself if you want to go ahead and try it. But there's going to be a follow-up video where I do some abuse to this knife. Probably stuff that you are not going to do, because I want to find out when this thing is going to break. I know it's been given to me, and if I break it, this falls under too bad, so sad. But they did give me a second knife, so let me take a look and see what that one's all about. I'm gonna put this one. Let's take a look and see what this one is. It says chef's knife on it. I'm guessing it's the same one. If it is, we're gonna have fun. I'm gonna take that one apart. No. Well, oh, well, oh, well. Oh, wow. All right. Very nice. This is the... Hold on, let me get the name right. This is another chef-style knife, but this is that Japanese vegetable knife. What the heck is it called? I can't remember the name of it. Nakiri, I think is what it's called. Yeah. This, here you go. This is this one. The 7-inch Damascus VG10 steel Nakiri knife. I have coveted one of these for a long time. So... Oh, wow. This is a nice, this is not, again, same quality. You know, and same mosaic pin. Okay. These are hand finished. I feel like these are hand finished. This one, I don't want to, I actually like, this is Damascus all the way down, and I like that. I'm not a huge fan of the peening on that one. This is more my speed, straight Damascus all the way down. Wow, this is really cool. So let me put this on. I hate this plastic thing. I hate that. I don't like that at all. Not gonna lie, at all. I know you gave me that. See, it doesn't feel. I feel like if I put this in wrong, I'm gonna slice my hand, like slide it over. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm just trying to understand what I'm feeling here. I'm trying to compare the two. See, these pins. See, these are hand done. So what I'm trying to, what I'm showing you guys here is this. There's nothing wrong with the feel or look. I'm not pointing out an issue or a problem. What I'm pointing out is the variability between how this feels on each one. I don't know for certain, but this, from that knife to this knife, even from pin to pin, the variability is such that it makes me feel like these are finished by hand. And they probably are. They probably are. Like I said, I'm going to find out whether or not epoxy is being used in here. Let's do that little tap test and see if we can hear any kind of hollow points. All right, let's try this one again. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm going to find out for certain. And you know what? These are very expensive knives. And I don't want to destroy them. But if they break, they break. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, guys. Well, that about wraps this video up. These knives are really, really nice. Real solid. Very well built. And this one, anyway, is razor sharp. But we're going to be putting these things through a bit of a torture test in the next video. So be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it when it comes out. To find out more information about these knives, I will put links in the description down below, and you can feel free to check them out on your own. Until that time, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you real soon. You all have a great day. Cheers.